second experiment is the laser reflector.
Vacuum flashing. If the technician permitted the temperature to rise to about 900 degrees Fahrenheit, sudden change.
We found that getting them down produced no significant problems.
There is a phenomenon that happens at these temperatures called cracking.
The undulations which are induced in these coils travel through the line wire and pass through the coils of an instrument of precisely similar construction at the distant station.
So, let me say a few words about the idea and motivation for this new quarterly Solari Report on what I like to call future science. Last summer, Catherine suggested to me to do a science series. Perhaps she was inspired by some elements of physics that I incorporated in a study workshop on the Pistis Sophia, which, as some of you know, is a text of interest to Catherine. It is an ancient Christian Gnostic scroll and part of a repertoire of sacred scriptures that I teach. The ancient texts are very much scientific texts, even if most people have no sense for their scientific content any longer. Ancient mythological language is much more than simplified allegory for telling moral stories. It was the language of scientific laws and axioms of the past, and still functions as such on a meta-linguistic level, capable of transferring multiple layers of meaning to the trained human mind. These are radial languages, as Charles Muses would call them, and not linear syntaxes. Metaphor, by the way, is a distinctly human ability, and as it seems cannot be emulated by computers. This higher charge and cybernetic power of language applies primarily to the truly revealed writings, such as the biblical and certain Gnostic texts, hieroglyphic writings, or Eastern Dzogchen Tantras. Anyway, I learned to use references to modern science and fundamental physical research in my presentations on scripture and consciousness studies. And this has brought me into contact with very interesting people, researchers, and pioneering theories of physics and the natural sciences, which have the potential of bridging the material and the consciousness realities, a bridge that is so needed to grasp the deeper levels of our being and to see more meaning in existence. So I am not a physicist by training. My degree is in comparative literature, but I have learned the scientific method and have had the chance of first-hand contact with or exposure to some cutting-edge research and fascinating alternative approaches that, if nothing else, provide new perspectives on the human situation and the cosmos in which we are embedded. Therefore, this series will not attempt to convey the basics from scientific textbooks or elementary physics read off of Wikipedia, but it wants to expand the discussion and ask questions that look beyond the horizon of the material paradigm. For example, we will look at an installation called the Kozyrev Mirror, used at the Institute of Cosmoplanetary Anthropoecology in Novosibirsk and other places. Or we will talk about time, space, and dimensions. Another topic will be the wave genome and the mathematics of the DNA. There will be reports on numbers and number theory, the acoustics of the pyramids, Riemann and Vernadsky, or the origin of mass in particle physics. Some of the research may be familiar to those of you with a long-standing interest in these topics. For others, certain ideas may be unheard of or even challenging and controversial. All of the topics are inspiring to me, and I hope to convey some of the exhilaration and joy of riding on the train of thought of a new scientific idea. Science should be in and of everybody's interest, and it is our right to participate in the upliftment and growth that is inherent in understanding more about reality. I ask for your leniency if, as essentially a non-physicist, albeit equipped with 2 decades of scientific studies, an occasional error of pronunciation, terminology, or measurements may slip in. These will not, however, take away from the general goal of this series, which is to provide a narrative of new ideas and to open additional ways of thinking that will hopefully allow us to make connections between disciplines of knowledge and our own position in life. For the first report, I have chosen a more traditional topic to get us started on common ground. So let's begin, and please feel encouraged to post your questions and comments to the reports, which I will read and reply to the best of my abilities. I know that Solari subscribers are among the intellectual and moral forefront of this world. It is therefore a great privilege for me to enter into this conversation with you all.